Hey comic book junkies, it's the Frog Queen here, and today I'm coming at you with another comic book review. Sitting in front of my little workstation area here, which is a mess. It's kind of always like this, and I just cover it so you can't see how messy it is, which is, I know, lazy, but I really didn't have the energy to like actually clean it up. And if you pan upwards, let's see if I can do it. It says, the further up, all the way to the ceiling, is just comics and graphic novels and manga. You can see sort of some of my manga right there. There's a lot of my favorite manga up there, actually. But if you pan up, way, way up, pan back down. This is a webcam, and it doesn't like to do that so much. Anyway, it's a little friendly giant bit in there for you. Okay, yeah, I'll stop and get on with it. So, I've been really excited about Excalibur, the new Excalibur, you guys, which I've told you about. I've told you I was excited about this last week, and I thought I'd actually try and talk about it on release day. You know, do something timely for a change, which I'm terrible at, because I don't know. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I'm lazy about timeliness and things like that. But most of it is just because there's not much benefit in it, and it's hard to do, like fit in around your busy schedule. So if you can do that, if you can be timely with releases and stuff, then good on ya. You're a better YouTuber than I am. But yeah, for the most part, I find it very difficult. Regardless, let's talk about Excalibur #1 by Teeny Howard. And this is the art's done by, how do I say this? Arciniega? Somebody please help me. I can't do it. Can't pronounce it. Anyways, I'm a pretty big fan of the art. I'm actually liking it. Digging it. It wasn't I wasn't immediately hating it, so that's important. Look at that. It's not too bad. It actually feels a bit throwbacky to early 2000s, late 90s to me. There's some things there that really stand out, and then it does have like a softer, more modern edge, like on the facial features of our characters. You know, maybe that's a little bit of like the more mature looking manga coming off there, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I like some. We got Rogue and Jubilee and Gambit back together, not for long, but together for now. Warning, there's going to be a bunch of spoilers in this. So, the whole premise is a little bit strange. Yeah, I guess you expected it to be with the people on the front. So we got Apocalypse there. So this is after Powers of X, of course. The universe is a bit different for mutants right now. And we have all of... not all of mutant kind. Kind of like, you know, there was House of M. There was different places that... different internment camps and different things like that mutants were sent to, and blah, 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 and then safe havens, and you remember all that stuff. So here we've got kind of this new safe haven, kind of, I don't know what you would call it, world/universe just for the mutants, and only the mutants live there, and only the mutants are welcome there, apparently. I guess only the mutants can get there, and it's called Krakoa. It's spelled like Kraken. Anyway. Crack. Say crack again. Crack. Okay. Anyways, they're on this little island universe place. There's not enough information about it here, and honestly, I didn't read Powers of X. because I honestly wasn't that interested in it until everyone started raving about it. And now I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go back and read it when the hardcover comes out in December. December 24th is when the big hardcover comes out. It's going to be quite substantial. I think they're trying to sell it for like $80 Canadian. So, you know, if I can get a cheap copy, I think pre-ordering on Amazon, you can get a cheap copy. Maybe I'll do that or something. Or I could read it online, but I'm too lazy to try and do that. And I hate reading things for free online. Like, unless a publisher's given me something to actually review or I've purchased it myself. Those are the only things that I consider like ethical in terms of when I want to review something. So I don't actually read any kind of scantillations or ripped off kind of scanned comics at all. The only things I would consider would be things that are long dead and out of print that I can't get anywhere. Maybe then. Okay. Where were we? Yeah, so in the place of crack, yeah. We've got, you know, a whole bunch of mutants you would recognize, and of course Apocalypse. So they've got all these different portals. I've got like this crazy portal room, like they all arrive by a portal. I don't think they're calling them portals. I think they're calling them something else. I don't remember. Anyways, and basically one of them is malfunctioning. One opened up in one of their rooms of portals, I guess. And Apocalypse is like, you know, it's a window leading here, not a door leading there, but regardless, no one can pass through it because something's blocking it. So some force is preventing anyone from going through this thing. Thanks, motorcycle. Isn't it getting a little bit cold for motorcycles? Guess not. So here you can get to see like the cool image. These are all the little portal windows. And Apocalypse is no longer calling himself Apocalypse. He's using this funny A character. So how do you pronounce it? I'm gonna say you pronounce it A, but because of the way it's written, I honestly don't know. And I was too lazy to look it up. I'm sure the internet will tell me somewhere how it's pronounced, but I'm just gonna call him like A or I'm sure it's just some vowel sound that I'm mispronouncing. Anyways, regardless, that window to the other place opens up to the other world, which is basically Avalon. And in the other world, Morgana, she's Morgan Le Fay, in this story. If you like Arthurian stories and stuff, then, you know, there's all kinds of different takes on it, and this is kind of mishmash. You know, Excalibur was a mishmash of Arthurian legend, the Captain Britain, and all kinds of those sort of characters. Anyways, in Avalon and blah 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 blah. So, regardless, Morgan Le Fay notices that she's actually in charge right now of that realm of the other world, and she ends up being like, what the hell's going on? I can't see through my looking glass, and there's all these stupid growths in the waters of Avalon, and like that's all these pretty flowers, actually, which are some kind of mutant flower, and they're infiltrating between the universes, and they don't know why or what, and, well, it's a bit murky. Maybe it says in the other stories. I don't know. But regardless, you got Psylocke being kind of the main character, which is kind of weird to me. And she goes and hangs out with her brother, who's Captain Britain, who's kind of getting older. Anyways, he gets kind of thrown under the bus as far as Morgan Le Fay is concerned. And she ensnares him, casts a spell on him, makes him basically attack Psylocke and do whatever she says. And he passes his powers, his jewel. He passes his powers of Captain Britain onto Psylocke before she exits the other world. This all happens when he travels back with Psylocke to kind of find out what's going on over there, blah, blah, blah. And they gotta protect Great Britain. Now, okay, that was my very long-winded, here's what happened, which I'm not good at doing, which is why I don't do those very often. But I think there's just some really interesting, kind of funny things in this book. First of all, it's kind of a lot bigger than some of the Marvel issues I'm used to reading. And mind you, I haven't been reading a lot of Marvel books in a long time. So this is like the first one I've picked up, really, probably since The Vision, that I can think of. I just don't, I mean, I read the old ones, my old favorites, a lot, and I reread them, but I haven't picked up anything new in a long time. So, one of the funny things is that this Krakoan, God, I hope I'm saying that right. Krakoan? I have to like look at it to read it. Anyway, their technology is all crazy, of course. It's a Krakoan. Their technology is all crazy. There's also like really good write-up about like how the universes work with each other. But they have this technology where they basically like, transform instantaneously from civilian clothes to their uniform. I know, it's basically a Sailor Moon transformation without all the glitz. So that they can just magically be like, it's time for action! And then they're in their proper clothes. So, civilian clothes, and then it's time for action! And there's like these little, I don't know, magic. It's not magic. I guess it's supposed to be like electricity. Yeah, I'm not suspending my disbelief much at all. But anyway, it's pretty funny. I was just like, oh, it's just like Sailor Moon. So I thought that was kind of weird. And just the fact that Apocalypse's name needs to be changed. Because I guess we're trying to see him as like not a foe anymore. He's supposed to be like a good guy now. Or at least kind of somewhat helpful, even though all of his motivations were really ambiguous anyway in the past. Yes and no. Because Apocalypse has been around for a while anyway. And I try not to like keep in mind like the movies and stuff. I just, the movies are a whole other can of worms for me. I'm just kind of going by like old comics. I'm probably going to get shot now. This is why I don't cover Marvel or DC books very often. So, of course, I ran out and picked these up this morning. So I got to read them. And by these, I meant my other books. So I actually picked up the new Hellblazer, too. So I'm going to try and do a video on that at some point. Probably not today, because I'm really, really tired. But yeah, I think this is an interesting story, honestly. It definitely feels different. It doesn't feel very mature. So I think it's like, intended for most audiences. Yeah, especially with like the Sailor Moon transformation. I don't know. I'm not sure where it's going. At the very, very end, Captain Britain is Psylocke. Psylocke's Captain Britain, and she's got the powers, and it kind of feels like that thing we've seen before, like one of the last books I think I read before I gave up on Marvel was maybe the new Thor series. So it does kind of feel like, oh, Thor lost his powers and somebody else is now worthy. It does kind of feel like that. So even though it's a gemstone that makes you Captain Britain, I don't know. So that it does feel a little bit already seen before, and I know a lot of people are going to be really angry about like, oh, they're just trying to turn more characters that were male into female, and I mean, I think they do that a lot just to play with things, just to change things, have more female characters that have central roles. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea. Why can't we just create more female characters, or take awesome existing female characters and give them more limelight? I've always been like a huge Rogue fan, so I used to buy X-Men every time I saw like Rogue in that group. So like when X-Force, there was like a X-Force with Rogue in it for a while, and she was like banded together with like Magneto and stuff. I mean, 10 years ago, probably. I don't know. Time's changed. I think that was 10 years ago. Yeah, it totally was. Anyway. But yeah, so I think like that's more fun than just like kind of handing off powers. I know a lot of people like Psylocke. I was never a big fan of that character. You know, I was never a big fan of like Kitty Pryde, and people were like, oh, we love Kitty, and I was just like, I don't really care to read any more about Kitty. When she was in that missile floating around in space, I was like, good, I'm tired of her. But I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point. Anyway, so this is me trying to get back into some X books, but X books that specifically kind of sparked my, ooh, look at that, you know, what is Apocalypse doing? What's going on? What's Rogue and Gambit doing together again, you know? And rather than just, oh, everybody's hype. Because there's always hype behind certain big two books. And it does get kind of exhausting. And most of the time it's really disappointing and they don't deserve the hype that they're getting. So I've been less likely to waste money on them. It sounds horrible, but it's true. You know, there's so many good books out there, so many good comics that I choose things that just aren't big two for the most part, because otherwise I end up being very disappointed. I wasn't disappointed with this. It's interesting enough, and I think it's fun enough, and it does include you know, the Arthurian legends, that kind of stuff that I always really liked about Excalibur and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see this title revived and see where it goes. That being said, they took Rogue out of the picture really fast, so I hope that doesn't stay that way and is remedied within the next, I don't know, issue. Please, can we have my favorite character back? And we've got Jubilee and favorite 90s, kind of 80s, 90s characters. So, I don't know. I think it's worth getting. It's worth reading. I like Teenie Howard's writing in general, and the artwork is pretty decent. It's not like my favorite artwork or anything, but as far as a lot of Marvel books are concerned, it's pretty good. I like it. Anyway, I know this has been like a weird video for me, and you're just staring at my very messy background, which I keep looking at going, oh my god. I will get it cleaned up at some point. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I know we're not tuning because it's the internet. Nobody tunes anymore. But thank you so much for watching. And until next time, read something good. Bye.